What is good, family? What is good, everybody? Thank you so much for stopping by again. What is up? What is up? Chat, throw some A's in the chat right now. If you can hear me speak, please throw those A's in the chat if you can hear me speak. What is up, everybody? Yeah, apologies for actually coming back in a little early in the weekend, right? So we usually have to actually stream on those Sundays instead. But guys, I apologize for any inconvenience whatsoever, as we do have family dinner coming up tomorrow, right? So we actually had to make some space and do an emergency call today to get the family in here. Maybe do a little bit earlier as well, so we can get some of those East Coasters up in the chat. What is up, Stick Vicious? Moderators Cal L, Samantha H. How you doing? I see Mark Roach in there. Mark Roach, how you doing, brother? We're gonna be taking a look at that MPLN ticker that you were asking about the other day, my dude. So I will definitely check it out. What is up, Miss L? Good to see you in the chat. BBJ, what's up, man? Good to see you here. Good to see you here. Lil AR15, what's up, man? One's fixing, man. Thank you everybody for joining in. Today is going to be a good stream. It's going to be a very good one. We're going to be checking out a few tickers that we should keep in mind for the coming week. Guys, I have to remind everybody right now that CPI data is going to be released. Actually, both CPI and PPI, which are the Consumer Price Index and the Producer Price Index. Okay, both of those metrics are macroeconomic data releases that are going to be coming out next week, which are absolutely going to play a very critical role to how the price action will reflect in the coming days, right, you guys? So we're going to start off with the broader markets, just like we always do, guys. So in this particular one, the last one we checked Tesla, right? So we did Tesla alongside the NDX and SPY. Today we're going to check out natural gas. We're going to do the Boyle ticker, though. We're going to do the Pro Shares, right? So we're going to check out the Pro Shares for the broader markets, and then we're going to pair that with SPY and NDX and see what we got. Okay, so we absolutely had TENX in the schedule as well. What is up, Paul? Good to see you in here. I will try my best. I'm not sure that I can actually get it done and in there, right? But I'm sorry, I'm actually missing one ticker here. I think this could be the one. Yeah. So we still got to look at ticker symbol VS as well, because that freaking ticker, man, really pissed me off, guys. Like, I mean, I'm talking about this. They suppressed the price so long. And, even the people in the Discord were asking, like, hey, Arca, what do you think is going on with VS? Like, you saw an upside, right? And I'm like, yeah, I definitely see the upside. Everything is primed. I'm just not sure why they're suppressing the price the way they're doing, right? But it looks like VS actually started to get that pop that we were finally looking for, right? It ended up reaching the 94 cents, which was already a target that we were looking for initially. Man, incredible. It actually, yeah, this is very annoying, guys. This is actually a terminal shakeout created right down here. Huge spring to the upside. And yeah, I actually see a lot of good coming in for ticker symbol VS, but we will definitely get into that ticker nonetheless. But I'm very happy to see DJ. What's up, my dude? Good to see you in the chat as well, man. Very, very exciting. Joe H, what is up, my dude? How are you? Good to see you here. Christopher, what's up, man? What's up? Guys, I'm very happy that everybody was actually able to join us today. All right. Again, I apologize for any inconvenience that this may cause, right? Because I know that I do have some people who come and listen to the Arca live streams from abroad, from other countries, right? So some of those people may actually not get to join in right now because it's probably 4 in the morning where they are right now, right? But I felt that it was pretty good for us to favor some of the people in the East Coast in this session, right? So very, very exciting times. Daniel Gonzalez, what is up, my dude? Good to see you here in the chat. So yeah, oh yeah, Paul, regarding COSM, I'll go ahead and try to add it to the schedule, my dude. I will put it up here just in case, right? But I'm not exactly sure that I can get to it all through today, right? So let me just put it up on there no matter what, and just in case it's there for our review. Okay, so while we wait for the chat to kind of fill up, let's just go ahead and review the broader markets, right? So I actually want to take a look at ticker symbol Boyle as well, as it is representing natural gas, but those are the Pro Shares, right? So they're 2x levered. So remember, guys, when you're trading ticker symbol Boyle, 2x lever means that it's 2 times the input, right? So Dips Patel, what is up? Good to see you in here, man. I will try to add GTII, but please, 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 definitely know that I added that I released. I released a video dedicated to GTII just yesterday, okay? And this is pertaining to the Monday coming and Tuesday, actually, because GTII is looking mighty strong. I'm very happy that you're keeping up with it, dude. Thank you so much for watching. We were able to see that upside early, right before it happened. So very excited that I was able to provide that information and get some people to get long GTII. Not a problem, my dude. Happy to have you here. Very happy to have you here. Okay, so just like I said, guys, ticker symbol BOIL is a 2x levered natural gas ticker, right? So this means that you can 2x lever your way down and 2x lever your way up. So be very careful. 2BZ, 4BS, what is up, my dude? So yeah, I'll go ahead and add it in here too. If we can move through the tickers fast enough, then we'll go ahead and add it in there as well. Okay, dude, so you're talking about LUNR, right? So let me start adding these things into the notes just in case we actually can't get to them, right? So LUNR, I'll type it in here and I'll leave it in the schedule, my dude. So if you're curious as to what tickers I'm going to be covering tonight, please refer to the schedule right up here where my mouse is hovering, okay? These are the tickers that we're going to be looking at so far, okay? So, and there it is, my dude. Let me just go ahead and leave it in there. And if we're able to get to it, we definitely got it, my dude. But very happy to have everybody here in the chat. All right, you guys, so let's start off yet again. With the NDX. Now, remember that I was telling you guys, actually, I'm going to put the note right now that we are starting this NDX ticker, right? Remember that the last stream that we were talking about was on Thursday, right? So I said I definitely don't want to rate anything today because we are dealing with a very inverse market, meaning that when we get good earnings, things can go down or they go up or whatever, right? So we didn't rate anything in respects to the jobs report that was coming out, which, by the way, I'm not sure if you're already familiar with this, but the jobs report came in positive. It came in great, meaning that there are less jobs. So with a good, that's what we wanted, right? So that we can continue on our bull cycle. And look what happened to the markets. We bled. Okay, so this is why I'm telling you guys not to play the earnings, not to play the economic catalysts that are coming out. Do not play CPI, do not play PPI, don't play the jobs reports, don't play earnings, and don't fight the Fed. Okay, don't go against what they're saying and don't try to guess it. You know what I mean? Because whenever we try to guess, it's essentially a gamble in the markets at this point. Okay, because man, I mean, I really didn't expect I thought jobs was actually going to make this thing rally. And we fell. I mean, we already had seen here on the NDX that we had a huge bearish engulfing, right? We had already seen the potential for a downside continuation, and it was already signaling us. So yes, we did get that downside. I mean, other than the jobs coming in bad. Yes, I get it. We still have the collapse of the banks and stuff. I understand all that stuff, guys. Okay. So, which, by the way, I actually just wanted to mention to you guys that I really hope that Elon Musk does not want to purchase Silicon Valley Bank, right? Because if he does purchase it, then he's going to kind of ease the pressure off of the Federal Reserve into potentially bailing us out, just like they did in 2003 and 2010. Like we want the Fed to just come and bail us out. You know, it's just the hedge funds, the institutions, they really kind of killed it. You know, they did it again. They really took advantage of retail. You know, they took advantage of a lot of dumb money. And I think it went a little too far, right? So I feel like if we can just, you know, have Elon Musk maybe not consider buying SVB, then maybe we can actually put some pressure on Jay Powell himself so that he can, you know, at least contemplate the bailing out of our markets, right? So I mean, how emergency is this meeting that they're going to have on Monday? You know, so I don't know. So hopefully that can be discussed. And I'm not actually sure that they want someone like Elon Musk owning that bank anyway. So I'm just, you know, it's just it's a good reason for conversation. It's a good reason to touch bases on what's happening, right? Because that can create a lot of blood further, you know, than we've already experienced, right? So you're looking at, I mean, what is this drop here from this point, you know, to the current day's low? Guys, I mean, take a look at that. That is straight up minus 4.5 points. You know, that's a lot. That's a big dip. When I'm talking about a $12,000 asset here, you guys, that's not a joke. This is a big deal. You know, so but the curious thing is that we're right at support. You know, so or critically close to it. Right, so it doesn't mean that we're gonna just continue on to the downside. It just means that we have a critical support below us, which can be arguably an inflection point. So knowing the charts and knowing where we are presently could assist us into potentially understanding that broader market perspective may be setting up a bear trap. Because you know it just happens that way. Right. So now regarding the SPY, of course, we got blood in the SPY as well. And now what's happening in the SPY here is very particular too. OK, and I'm going to share with you why. Yes, we are also approaching support in the broadening descending wedge for the SPY in the 12-hour. Right. So usually we have 1, 2, 3, and we have one more cycle of this before a continuation onto the upside. Right. So this is these bear flags are already about to end, which is why I'm compelled to kind of say that, yeah, 2008, I totally see it. Which is why I'm compelled to say that these bear flags are coming to an end and we could potentially be setting up a bear trap, right? So if we're looking at it, short sellers, I know I have some shorts here in the chat, so I would be very careful. Don't over leverage at this point, okay? Because you're looking at critical supports coming up, and if we're talking about the SPY dropping to a potential 382.31, that would be the supports from November 2022. So it's very critical that we bounce from there, and it's very likely too, since both of the SPY and the NDX are facing a critical support there. Now, looking at it's very interesting that actually natural gas was capitulating too, right? Because it usually can be a pretty good hedge play. Stick Vicious, thank you so much for your donation, my friend. So saying evening moderators, Cal, Samantha, Mark, DJ, thank you for all you do. Thank you, my brother. That really means a lot to us, man, or to me. Well, you know, this is it's incredible that I can be able to share some of this with my family, right? So thank you. I really, really appreciate you. And in turn, we get some plays and we make some money, right? So, guys, let's continue on ticker symbol BOIL, okay? I was really curious to see this dip because there could be, this could be a good hedge play, right? But in this case, the entire markets were bleeding. Very little assets were actually making the upside move, some of which we actually even saw. But even still, BOIL, what are the supports? What are the supports to the downside? Well, we have to take an inverse fib and see what we're doing in the first place. So let's refer to momentum in the shorter time frame, right? So 30-minute immediate short-term BOIL. Let's see what it's got. Remember, this is a 2x levered asset, right? So please be careful when trading this, as you can lose 2x to the downside and win 2x to the upside, right? So upside suggestion on the 30-minute immediate short-term time frame, we're already converting that SMA 10 and EMA 7 into a support. So upside is imminent in the immediate short term, okay? So but right away we can see the EMA 30 the EMA 30 right up here at about $5.31. We're currently sitting at about $5.15. That $5.31 is a resistance that we can face quite quickly. So now the buy hourly is also suggesting around the 520s too. So 525 for the EMA 7, we have a lot of correlation there. Another thing is that are we building these flags again? Could there be a potential for a third or maybe even a fourth for BOIL? Well, let's continue validating because that looks like it looks like the bears are temporarily in control for this while we face a critical support. So if we're looking at the extension like this, so if we have another drop, yeah, there could be room for maybe 2 more flags here or 2 more ladders before we can actually get really close to this bottom side support, which could be at 438, which by the way could present an immense opportunity to get long this stock, right? Because it has been showing us lots and lots of good news, right? So I want to look at the 12-hour too and see what it's got. So let's see right over here. Okay, so still, I mean, the price action is still suggesting some downside here. We are pivoted kind of to the upside on the 12-hour, which only tells me that there could be a little bit of consolidation before a continuation to the way down. The daily confirms that way down, and we are now crossing below that 14-day simple moving average. Okay, so this is getting to the point to where we can for sure say that, you know what, we still have a little bit of downside to go. Maybe consider not getting long this ticker just yet and waiting for that support touch, because the bi-daily RSI is actually starting the curve, right? It's looking like the bears are losing a little bit of control, although still in control, right? So if we have that 14-day simple moving average here, very likely we can actually face some downside, maybe not even touch it, and then continue on to the upside. The 3-day time frame is showing us that we're right at the support of the 14-day moving average, right? And we're not going to worry about the 5-day just yet, because it could be relying on the shorter time frames for that upside, you guys. So the daily time frame is essentially the one that's giving us that downside, and the bi-daily and 3-day are telling us that this is essentially the support and potential bottom near. Okay, so which is why I'm trying to tell you that maybe considering I would say between the 3-spot 272 and the 3-spot 618 at 454 could be a pretty substantial support range, right, for us to consider positioning on this. Now, I mean, just real quick so that we can reference volatility versus momentum. 3-day volatility versus momentum is still facing the upside, still suggesting an upside. We still have a day and 17 hours to close this candle iteration here, but very likely whatever happened here can affect the 3-day momentum, and in fact could also potentially bring the volatility component of the BBWP into critical expansion again, which, by the way, would honestly be setting up another rally to the upside pretty nicely. Let's look at the bi-daily. Yeah, the bi-daily is already suggesting that downside. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, we're getting close to the overbought level here. So yeah, guys, there's still some downside to look out for here in the 12-hour time frame and 8-hour time frame. We look like we're starting to get primed for an upside, right? But it's in respects. Everything that I'm looking at here is in respects to us finding a potential floor very, very soon. Okay, you guys, so that's going to do it for the broader markets right now. Please, please, please consider the CPI data coming out. Okay, the CPI data, I believe, is on Tuesday, and we should be pretty smart to maybe not get long the tickers during that macroeconomic data release. Okay, so we really have to be careful with what we're doing there. All right, guys, so very exciting times here, and I am officially going to end the broader market spectrum right now and continue on to the next ticker. So yeah, guys, we're going to be covering some pretty exciting tickers today, including ticker symbol TENX, ticker symbol VS, COSM. All right, guys, so we're going to try our best to get through all of these tickers and see what's up. All right, so what's up, chat? Very excited to see everybody here. Please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and let's go ahead and move along. This ticker was recommended, or asked for, not recommended, my apologies, by moderator Mark Roach, and I wanna give it a quick look, right, to see if there's any potentials here, or any type of setup happening for a potential get long position, right? So I'll try to add, I'll try to add TRKA into this. You know, we'll try to breeze by all these tickers as fast as possible and get it in there, but nonetheless, it is on the schedule now, my dude. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you for interacting with the crowd and with me. Very much appreciate that. Okay. One Fix It Man, thanks so much, dude. So now let's go ahead and yeah, continue on that ticker, MPLN. Okay, so we have we have a descending channel here, you guys. As you know, descending channels are typically and usually and naturally a bullish formation. Okay, so as they represent they're going to represent a macro change. Okay, so the direction of the asset is about to get adjusted, but usually happens after about 4 tests of the resistance. I'm talking about 4. Kenny Powers, what's up, man? The 4th test being the true breakout test, and guess what? We're at test 1, 2, 3, and it looks like we're prepping for a test number 4. Huge terminal shakeout right down here. We have that spring loading up right now. Very nice print of a bullish hammer on the daily time frame, by the way. Long wick to the downside. It's a high quality candle. Okay, so this could potentially give us one sign of a reversal or a continuation to the upside from whatever we were facing since what date is this? This is March 2nd. Good stuff. I really like it a lot. One Fix It Man, thank you so much for your help, my dude. So now, to validate that upside, let's, first of all, let's load up some moving averages, right? Let's see what we have below us. Very important that we have that SMA 10 right below us, okay? So the reason why I'm saying this is because usually the SMA 10 is something that is followed when we're making upside continuations, okay? So this is why I'm expressing the importance of this SMA 10. Very likely we have the EMA 7 right below us as well. And oh, it's actually right above us. So this is very likely where we're facing the resistance right now. So now we have to validate to see if we can continue on to that upside. So 30 minutes suggesting a little bit of consolidation here is no big deal. We still have that 14-day simple moving average suggesting slight upside. And it looks like the 30-minute moving averages are starting to all kind of fall below us, right? So we have some very important moving averages below us on the 30-minute. This is the SMA 200, SMA 10, and the EMA 7. Right above us, we actually have this moving average, if you can see it. This is the EMA 30, okay? This is the 30-day exponential moving average. Of course, we're just resisting, but we're knocking at the door at it. It looks pretty likely that we can break out of it. Bi-hourly time frame RSI suggesting some consolidation even still as well. Okay, so one thing to kind of worry about here in the bi-hourly time frame is the fact that we could be building a continuation formation to the downside, but that's not just yet validated, okay, because it looks like we're knocking at the door to break out of this, okay? So this is in all essence kind of a bear flag, right? So, well, I mean, you don't want an ascending triangle. You definitely don't want an ascending triangle from a downtrend, because this usually suggests a continuation to the downside. Okay, but in this case, it looks like we're breaking it, and looks like it's actually trying to make that bullish breakout to the upside. So let's continue validating. What is the 6 hour saying for us? 6 hour RSI. Let's see. So also consolidation. Very curious, actually. Why are we consolidating so much on this ticker? And it's $1.06. What's the cap on this? Let's see what the share, what the float is in the cap. So, oh wow! So a market cap of about 683.91 mil, nice, and a 258 million float, guys. This is a prime ticker. This is not a bad trade whatsoever. I'm just curious as to why we are so pensive, right? Earnings report shows to be coming up way later. This is May 10th, and let's see. So Multiplan, when was this? February 28th. It's already kind of dated. Well, it's 3 weeks old, 2 weeks old. Multiplan reports Q4 revenue of 241 million. Okay. All right. So there could be, I mean, the last earnings was a miss. The one before that was a beat, miss, and beat. Okay. So it's an on and off hit with this ticker. Okay. So fundamentally, I'm not sure what could be holding it back, but let's continue moving on. Let's see what the 12-hour has to say. 12-hour also consolidation. We are below that 14-day simple moving average, which could present actually resistance and then reversal right back into this gravitational zone, then resistance again. This is still suggesting consolidation as well. Very, very curious. Consolidation on the daily as well. Oh man, look at that. Consolidation on the bi-daily. So what's actually volatility versus momentum saying? It may be actually towards the, oh, well, this is starting to pivot towards the upside from critical volatility on the 6 hour. What's the 8 hour saying? This is curious, guys. This is very curious. Okay, still some downside on the 12, on the 8, sorry. Downside on the 12 and downside on the daily. Okay, so the setups are definitely in the upper term time frames, which is kind of, I guess it's indicative of consolidation and some sideways trading. So whatever support this is, or whatever we're trying to face, because this ticker has been trading for a long time, if I do recall correctly. And let's just let it load some history here so I can see just how far back, right? So, oh, okay, so it's actually not that long. 2020, we'd have no other supports other than the ones that we're facing here. So this is our inflection point right now, and very, very likely the reason why we're bouncing in and out of it. Okay, so whatever has to be validated for this ticker should happen soon. I'm not sure if there's news. And then this can actually... And then, okay, thanks, Mark. Let me see. MPLN announced that its board of directors has approved a new share repurchase program authorizing the company to repurchase up to $100 million of its Class A common stock through December 31st, 2023. So this is is it a forced buyback? Wow. Okay, so I mean, the upper term timeframes are suggesting that the setup is there somewhere. Okay, so I guess when did they announce this? February 28th, 2023? Nice. Okay, so I mean, there is the potential that this can rally upon some further confirmations in the technicals, right? So we're right there, though. I mean, we are right there. before this thing can launch to the upside. I'm not exactly sure when though, because I'm not getting any bias for timing here, other than the fact that the 3-day is still suggesting a little bit of downside here to face that support from the 14-day simple here. We still have 1 day and 17 hours to close that 3-day iteration, so very likely this can actually face yet again another support down to the areas of about $1 or 101, and before actually validating that and continuing on to the upside. So it's looking good, and it's on a macro reversal channel. It's also on the 4th test, about to hit the 4th test. Lots of confluence and a lot of rhyming here, so I like it. It's just that we're kind of just on the sidelines waiting. So let me just go ahead and okay, gotcha. I'm reading it all, Mark. Thank you so much, my dude, for presenting all of that stuff. So yeah, man, I'm a fan of it. It's just that it's not quite ready. Another thing that we can actually look at here is this. Please pay attention to this, guys. So we have actually let's see. Yeah, we have declining volume. And what happens when you have declining volume like this? Well, there is the potential of building a falling wedge. Okay, so this falling wedge right here could very well be a reason as to why we're facing the pressures that we're facing, right? So if we're able to actually make this wedge realize, let me just get rid of the channel for now, right? If we're able to make this wedge realize, we're looking at, let's see, test number 1 and 2. The test to the downside that I'm telling you, coming back down, would essentially reclaim the 101 that I just said, or $1. Very likely can reclaim the inside of this channel, then test again for test number 3, potential drop down to 87 cents, test number 4 breakout. Okay, so the thing is that in this channel, in this falling wedge, there could be 2 potentials for it, but the potential from this area is the one that I'm focusing on, from this point here. But there is still this, right? There is still the potential of looking at it in this perspective as well. Okay, so very confusing right now, right? But it looks like it is prepping for an upside move. Okay, so this is the other reaccumulation formation, of which can lead to a pretty substantial upside in the event where it does realize it, right? So taking a trend line from the very top of the triangle to near, guess to where this can actually be, right? Like that. You can apply it to the point of breakout, which is usually about 65 to 70% of to the apex of the triangle. Let's just guess that it was around here, right? Or here. So the upside and recovery to this would actually take us to the resistance of this candle right here at about $1.90. So huge upside to go. Also, please notice that right here is the SMA 50 on the 3-day. So lots of confluence there. Another thing that we can do to validate an upside like that is also to take a fib, right, from the range high to the range low. And please notice that the top side of this leading right to the 1.618 at 189. So I'm telling you, I'm a fan of it. I see it, right? I see it all. It's just a little pensive. It just has to validate or figure out whatever it has to figure out before actually making that upside. So now I can give you a resistance range, right? So from the 1.618 to about the 50-day simple moving average, you're looking at a resistance range of 188 to about 206. And that, in all honesty, my dude, could be a very, very lucrative shot to the upside, right? So the top side, you're looking at a 100% move. So, it's of course, it's not just going to be one freaking candle to the upside, right? We still have the 0.618 to combat. We have the 1.272. We have the resistances right here that are aligning with all those fibs too, right? So the 1.272, let me just make a quick little drawing so you can see just how relevant it is as a resistance with the price action, right? So right here, please notice all resistance right at the 1.272. So I'm just giving you an overall target right here, guys. So if you're looking at a loading zone from this area, I actually would consider between the areas of about 101 to 87 cents, and definitely be very smart in how you're scaling into something like this, okay? But the upside looks present. It's just not ready just yet. So I like it. All right, so let's go ahead and, guys, in respects to the Tuesday CPI data release, and I think it may be Thursday or Friday for PPI, I'm not exactly sure when, but in respects to those macroeconomic data releases, we are not going to be rating the trades today, okay? Because I do not. The last thing I want to do is present any danger for retail here. Okay, you guys, we want to make sure that we can steer clear from the markets when we're playing CPI. It is a gamble. It is straight up a gamble. You see there? Yeah, I see. Oh, yeah. Moderator Cal L totally caught it. Look at this. We definitely have an inverse herp and derpy right here. Okay, so looking like it's actually forming that shoulder. We have that head, potential retracement one more time, right, to get that actual right hand shoulder. Oh my goodness, man. So for sure, we definitely have TENX up in the schedule. If you can just go ahead and look at the tickers that we're going to be covering today. We're going to cover as many as we can, right? So yeah, guys, full transparency, I'm long 10X. I actually just saw it dip somewhere. I'm like, I need to just get in now. Let's go. All right. T Wood saying, Arca, how literal are the times when you say the daily, bi-daily, 3 daily, weekly, etc. Example, if an upside shows a 5-day expected and 5 days later, the time frame screw with me. That's a very good question. And so there's actually a very logical answer to that. So when I say a 5-day candle or a 5-day chart, no, I don't mean in 5 days. So check this out. If we're looking at a 3-day iteration here, it takes arguably about 3 days and about 23 hours and 59 minutes so pretty much 4 days to complete this candle here. Okay, so that means that the next candle is also going to take another 4 days I'm really sorry, I can't speak English right now, to complete. So if you're looking at this range here, go ahead and take a look at this. So in order for us to make this little wave here that we're doing, the span between this candle and this candle, by the way, this is something you will learn in the Arc Masters course. You're looking at about 30 days. This is a month right here. Okay, so this is why I tell you guys, okay, that it could be ready for a very short-term play right now, but know that there is a swing play and very likely can take weeks and days, right? So you're looking at 2 months just in the formation of this within the falling wedge. Okay, so you can kind of make the math for yourself. So then if you're looking at the 5-day, then just go 5-day candle, 5-day candle, 5-day candle, kind of guess it like that, you know, and use the trend that's already kind of happening. And this is a good way for you to understand or be able to determine timing in a sense, right? So once you start understanding that, then you'll be like, okay, well, now I know the timing. So now where's the upside? Because timing is technically supposed to be one of the easiest things to figure out in trade. Okay, so T Wood, I hope that actually answered your question, right? So yeah, this is what I'm saying to the supposed area of breakout. The supposed area of breakout that I just gave you, let me just give you a quick little idea from where we are now. It's 18 days away. See what I mean? It's kind of a buzzkill to look at it like this, right? But I'm not trying to show you what doesn't matter. I'm really trying to show you what matters for this, because there obviously is. Mark Roach is showing us there's a lot of fundamental catalysts behind this. So that fundamental catalyst is leading me to believe that on the macro scale, we can really face a serious upside on this. But this upside, of course, reading a 3-day candle, 3-day candle, 3-day candle, 3-day candle, potential pullback here, another, come back to the 618, 3-day, 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 3-day. You're looking at a 2-month swing play if the psychology and sentiment doesn't actually make this run to the upside, right? So that's kind of like how to look at it, all right? So definitely pay attention to the time frames that I'm in. So T Wood saying, no, I have to work on times. I have sold too early on many. I definitely understand that, my dude. And don't take it as I sold too early. Take it as you guaranteed your profits. And that's actually a very good thing, because there's always an opportunity, guys. There's an opportunity every single day, but we just want to play it smart every single day, because not every single day do we have a CPI read, but in this coming week we do. Okay, so the more obvious plays would actually be on Wednesday, right? And then we have PPI coming out on Thursday. So then the more obvious plays would be Friday and Monday, right? So we have to keep in mind the macro perspective and the world situation, right, alongside our trade. And this is why we're now implementing the NDX SPY and some type of mega cap or gas or even oil futures or whatever, right? So this is why we look at it this way. Thank you so much, T Wood, for asking that question. So that is going to do it for ticker symbol MPLN, and we should be. Yeah, we haven't. Somebody actually requested for a ticker the last time, and I was not able to get to it because it was just, you know, it was. I have a lot of tickers to cover, right, you guys? So the next ticker we're going to look at is MAXN. Okay, so I'm not really familiar with this ticker whatsoever. If some of you are, you know, thank you, One Fix It Man. So if some of you are, you know, familiar with this ticker, please let me know. Dive in. Let me know some other fundamentals. Are we expecting some news? Because what I can see here is, guys, check. Yes. I love it that I love that it came up. I love that it came up. Look at this. All right. I just told you that I expected the markets to run to the upside on behalf of the good jobs report, right? So we didn't get that. We didn't get the damn run to the upside because we're in this crazy inverse market. Please notice right here, we have an earnings miss, and look what the price action did. What the hell? Are you serious? How is that? Why? Right? So we have an earnings miss, and now we have a huge pump to the upside. Guys, come on. This is the prime example of the markets we're trading right now. Okay, so literally what I just said. Thanks so much, One Fix It. I'm really just trying to show you guys that it's not the way it's not like the good old days, right? When we were in 2001, 1999, 1998, that market, hell, even 2004 and 2005 had it. You know, we have a good earnings report, and then the upside comes in, right? But ever since we started trading as dumb money, right? Cal L saying 2003, yeah, exactly, man. So ever since we started trading as dumb money and introducing new retail that actually has no idea what to do in the markets, then the narrative started changing because there could be traps set in place. We already knew what the traps were before that with the intelligent and educated traders, right? So then now that there's all these people in it, the traps became bigger and bigger and bigger, and this is why we're in the situation right now. I mean, upside of an infinite amount of other things, right? Like, for example, the collateral debt obligations, the CDOs that we're looking at, subprime mortgages in the 1998 to 2006 or 7. All of that, I think they're called slabs now. So it's the same issue, just called a different thing. So we just have to follow what the markets are doing. We have to really pay attention to the tickers. We have to see how many times we're actually missing earnings and going to the upside or downside. Okay, so this is very good that it came up. I'm super excited that it came up because it gives us just another idea as to how messed up and how inverse the markets can be against retail, right? So right away here in what I'm looking at is, yes, we were technically right at the breakout point of this. It could be, let me see. Yeah, actually it could be. Very well could have been a right angled triangle, right? But in this case, it looks like it was just something like this, right? No problem. So let me just go ahead and show you here. So we broke out of this triangle. The triangle is essentially a symmetrical triangle, which, by the way, plays both ways according to the playbook rules. Okay, symmetrical triangles have a downside target and an upside target, so it's bidirectional by nature. So there are 3 ways to guess where that, or to gain a price objective, right? So the first way is actually from the center of the triangle itself. Take a trend line from the top side to the very lowest area. Take a trend line from the top area to the lowest point of the triangle is the second way. And the third way would be a trend line from the breakout point itself. Okay, so just like this. So now you start applying it to that point of breakout, and then you see which one was actually realized. So obviously it was the one in the middle. Okay, so those are the 3 potentials for price objectives. Okay, and they line up with price action pretty well. They usually do, right? So I'm just saying that triangles have a better hit rate than normal, more so than not the right angle triangle or the descending triangle. Okay, so apart from that, the rising wedges, symmetrical triangles, falling wedges, those triangles have a lesser hit rate than your traditional just right angled flat bottom, horizontal line at the bottom, and hypotenuse coming down, right? So that triangle has a huge hit rate, is better. Right, I mean, in crypto assets, it's upwards of about 70% hit rate on the upper term time frames, above daily. Okay, so I actually haven't backtested anything smaller. So looking at this in the broader markets here, since we were so coupled, together with crypto, it tend to follow the same thing, right? So in this case, yes, we broke out to the upside, and we did break out in the pretty fair zone. So 1, 2, 3, and test number 4 breakout. What you have to notice now is that we haven't come back. We've never validated the newly converted resistance into support. I'm not saying that we have to. I'm just saying that that's something to keep in mind. Okay, apart from that, let me just go ahead and get rid of these trend lines here because it's just a mess. Apart from that, we have to keep in consideration the gap that was formed in this process. Okay, so that creates a huge psychological component. Okay, this area here, first of all, could be used as a form of resistance. Resistance support. So we can use that support and then continue on to the upside. So if this thing continues on to the upside, the next, oh yeah, and we're actually resisting, very interesting here. Look at this gap right here is actually landing right at our triangle, right at the triangle price objective. Let me just go ahead and take a note like this here so you can see what I'm talking about. See, this is the top side of the gap here, and go ahead and notice that the triangle was already suggesting that target anyway. So very curious, very curious. Actually, now it makes me feel like we definitely have some golden means located at that area there. So let's take a swing high to swing low fib from just the current range, right? So just from this area here. And yeah, so we actually came right. Look at the price action. It actually 28.95, 29.30, right below the 3.618 golden mean. So it's playing geometrics pretty nicely. Okay, I like it. I like it. So something to notice here: daily volatility versus momentum, critical volatility, and already maxing out, potential downside coming in. Okay, but that doesn't mean that the downside is for sure. Huge pivot here on the RSI. That's not always something that we can rely on. Historically speaking, we're already reversing from that last point right up here. December 22nd, 2020, it looks like we reached a total of about 77.62 of RSI. We are sitting currently, let's see, 76.31. So it's fair. It's fair. It's fair to kind of guess that the downside is more likely than not. Another thing that we should notice in candle analysis is that if we get another wick, another daily wick like this with bodies at the bottom, that would start to create something called the three black crows. Okay, so three black crows candle formation usually signals a downside continuation. Aside from that, this is a shooting star at the top of a formation. So we're getting bearish signals left and right. Another thing that we can do, let's see. Let's look at the 12 hour to see if we have upside or downside on the RSI. Okay, so what I wanna show you here is the potential of some. Let me just make sure that that's not that pivot. And very lucky that this thing actually doesn't have another pivot, right? So let me see. Ooh, it's ever so slightly, but there is a drive of bearish divergence happening from that December 2020. So I mean, it's just by 1%, and it's yet to be validated. Okay, and it's yet to be validated because the pivot is happening, but it hasn't actually realized. Okay, so that's something to kind of look out for there as well. Okay, so some bearish formations already coming into play. Let's go and still look at this critical volatility in the 12 hour, overbought in the stochastic momentum, overbought in the RSI. It seems like if sentiment doesn't just take this to the upside, then it's going to follow the statistics and the technicals to the downside. So again, 6 hour critical volatility, downside pivot on the stochastic momentum. And we still have a little bit of a corrective pivot here, but please know that I do not respect those little pivots, and they usually or often fail. Okay, so if there is a downside to this, then it could be limited. And judging the space between the 12-hour RSI signal and the 14-day simple, that's kind of a huge distance away. All right, so very likely could be down to about 23.10 before a continuation onto the upside. So again, it's just speculative, right? But I can just give you what I'm seeing. Bi-hourly already showing the downside here. We're making a resistance touch on that 14-day simple moving average. We're now diving into the bull strength percentile. So that's already showing some weakness all in the zone. And the 4 hour is suggesting a potential short-term drop. I don't believe it though. I don't believe it because the 8 hour time frame suggests that the 4 hour is going to be surpassed. So, and what I mean by surpass is that 4 hour is right at support now, but the 8 hour is not, and neither is the 6 hour. So, meaning that the 4 hour, if it is going to face some type of support, I don't know. It's actually may fail the 12. I'm sorry. It may fail the 8 hour and the 12, eventually realizing the daily. And that daily drop is pretty substantial here, you guys. So definitely looking out for a target down here to at least, you know, I guess I can give you a range. And that would be involving the 1.618 geometrical level right here to the top side of that gap. And so 2171 to 2309, very likely for us to come back down to those zones. So now even if we load up some moving averages, let's see if anything's there. Yeah, so the SMA 10 by the time by the time Monday ends, very likely it's going to end up within this zone here. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at, you guys. It's got some bullishness coming to it, but it's not prepped just yet. And I think it's going to have to be, yeah, it's probably in the upper term time frames. Once it actually flashes all the way down to this area, very likely a lot of momentum is going to be on a downside pivot, right? Because this is a huge drop, right? So from the area that we're sitting on, 2735, to the top side of this support, you're looking at a minus 15.54% loss. And to the downside of the, right at the 1.618, 20%. That can present a lot of stop losses triggered. That can present a lot of fear, a lot of just, let me just get out now and salvage whatever I have in my portfolio so I can get into a better play. So while I see the supports here, there's also the gap, right? So I would be very careful to where this ticker is going, but very good example and a very interesting learning experience from this ticker, right? So let's just go ahead and end this ticker now, you guys, and continue on to the next one. Guys, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I very much appreciate everybody for coming down and visiting Arca, right, you guys? So go ahead and stay tuned. We still have some popular tickers to look over, right? So MAXN is done. So guys, let's now move on to the next ticker, and that's going to be ticker symbol XELA. XELA, which is another ticker that has been asked about a lot, right? So the last time I looked at this ticker was actually, I think it was here, right, when we were suggesting a continuation to the downside, very likely to touch this area for support. In fact, it created another terminal shakeout, just like freaking VS is doing, and then it pumped to the upside, right? So I like it, but it's still suggesting downside, even if the daily is right at that support of the 14-day simple. So what I'm saying is that this price action, it doesn't really take a mathematician to tell you that there's more downside to go. First of all, notice the daily candle here. It doesn't even have a wick like this little shadow here. It doesn't even have a wick because it hasn't even returned anything from what it's lost, right? So this is pretty bearish, right? And let's see. March 2nd announces XELA Technologies announces new funding on March 2nd. So that was very likely the upside that we got, and then it just lost the steam. Okay, so let's go ahead and refer to our moving averages and momentum to see what we got for ticker symbol XELA. Okay, so right away we're converting that SMA 10 into a resistance here, so that's not good already. Okay, SMA 50 right above us as a resistance range as well. So let's go ahead and just start off with a 30-minute immediate short-term time frame, and go ahead and notice right over here that the 30-minute is already facing resistance from the 14-day simple, suggesting a downside continuation approaching that gravitational zone. Which could honestly just capitulate. This can still face a continuation to the downside. Let's go to the buy hourly and see what it's got. So the buy hourly is still suggesting downside as well. Okay, yes, I understand we're right at that gravitational zone, but this thing could still continue on to the downside. Okay, so now it's actually making me very curious as to what it could be building. I see it. Oh crap. All right, so this is in essence building I'll show you the channel. Just let me just get through this real quick. Okay, so man, nosediving on that 6-hour time frame. I don't trust that pivot there. It looks like there's a little bit of loss from the bears, right? But it's still suggesting massive downside, and very, very likely to face a support touch of what I'm going to show you soon. Oh man. Okay, so nosedive on that 12-hour. This is very likely to continue to the downside, guys. In fact, If there are longs in this right now, consider. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor, guys. I can't suggest for you to buy anything. Okay, I really can't. There's no way that I can do that, right? Or else I'll be in huge trouble. Okay, so just know that I can't suggest it, and I really do need for you guys to do your own due diligence. I know I say it so like often, and I say it like I do in the videos because it's almost scripted for me to say it in the beginning or whatever, but I freaking for real mean it. Like I really can't, okay, because that gets people in trouble. And in this case, what I'm saying is that, or why I'm saying this is because if you are long this ticker and if you are in some type of profit right now, please consider liquidating position soon, because this is suggesting like massive downside, like huge downside. All right, so now let's go to the daily, and I'm going to show you the targets right now. So the daily is showing that we could be at that potential support, but this is why I don't trust it. Look at the buy daily, still man, hold on. Let me put that back over here. Okay, good. So yeah, please notice that the buy daily is still suggesting that downside. Are we ever going to, let me, oh, goodness gracious, hold on. Let me get rid of the volume. When did I ever do that? Hold on just a sec. Let me put the volume back and now go back into the jeez. Okay, so yeah, the reason why I'm saying I can't trust the daily is because the downside's still being suggested on the buy daily. So the buy daily obviously is a higher time frame. It's going to give it more weight. Okay, so we still have that drop here, and this one's a more substantial support. Why? Because of two reasons: the 14-day simple moving average and also the gravitational zone of the oversold percentile. Very likely we can face a bounce here, and it shows it because it's very, very close to a support bottom that I'm actually looking at. 3-day time frame approaching that support as well. However, it is on a kind of an ascent here, so that's a good, it's actually a little divergent to what's happening here in the price action. So upward RSI, downward price action. Yeah, it's a little divergent to it, so that could present a bullish something coming in. Right, so now what am I looking at? Why did I say that earlier? And it's in respects to a potential channel. Okay, so let me get rid of the moving averages and I'll just show you what I am looking at. Okay, so let me get rid of this over here because very likely, I mean, look how long it took to reach our target, right? We were already looking at this target. It took forever. It took from January 31st to, wow, almost a month. It almost took a month to realize the targets that we were looking for. So, man, yeah, so let me just show you what I am talking about here, okay? I'm just going to get rid of these drawings so that there's no confusion. And this as well, because it really doesn't matter there anymore. Let me block this and bring it up like this, okay? So, very, very likely what we're looking at here, it could be from here actually, is a descending channel. Okay, so the descending channel is, again, a bullish formation. So it is in a sense suggesting a potential reversal of sorts. And let's just count, though, but it may not be soon. So you're looking at test 1 of the resistance and test 2. Okay, so the downside targets that I'm looking at are actually in direct confluence with the 4-spot 618 that we were looking at before, and also the triangle bottom of which we faced right over here. And also the candle that eventually reached that area. If you start to kind of align my very bottom side of the target that I've been looking for forever, just go ahead and do it like this. And please just notice that it's coming right back down to that support of the channel, right? So arguably it could be Monday, March 13th that we can face this capitulation and a potential bounce from this area. Okay, so upon that bounce though, if we do get an upside move, that does not mean that this is it, right? That we're just gonna moonshot here from the bottom support to the upside. First of all, we are following geometrics pretty nicely. It is following the Fibonacci ratios good. Okay, so that means that we can potentially find that bounce, and then we can eventually chop, find resistance here from test number 3, which would then introduce a bigger capitulation event, leading to about 4 cents, and then we can start prepping up for another upside. So if I'm looking at just technicals here, not involving any type of fundamental metric for this, we can potentially be in this cycle for another 24 days, maybe a month, right, before this thing can actually make another attempt to the upside. And I'm not talking about I'm talking about after test number 3 and then test number 4. Minimum a month before this can make it. Okay, so I don't know what the heck they're doing as far as the company specifics, but it's very likely for us to find whatever we're. It's very likely for us to continue capitulating, right? So definitely some range trading, which could be a good opportunity for some longs and also for some shorts, but this is already heavily psychologically impaired, okay? And it's because it's facing a serious loss. This is a lot of capitulation for the last weeks and weeks and weeks. Okay, so I need you to be very careful. MYO, I'll go ahead and add it into the schedule. Like I said, you guys, I'm not exactly sure that I'll be able to get to it today, but I will put it on here nonetheless, okay? So, and if I'm not able to catch it today, then we'll go ahead and catch it in the next stream. Please remember, actually today was a very irresponsible day for me since I was caught off guard for the family dinner tomorrow, but I want you to know that today was actually one of those days that I missed looking at the early ticker picks in Discord and totally bypassed it, right? But just know that you can actually request for tickers early if you join the Discord and go into the channel called Ticker Picker. Okay, so very often we get references to other tickers that we can look at, right? So yeah, referencing ticker symbol XELA, you guys, that's going to do it for that ticker. So definitely be careful if you are already long that ticker, okay? As I do see potential downside continuation for, if you're curious as to just how much continuation that is, it could be another 14% loss before a potential gain. Okay, so if you're looking at the bounce before an upside, that could be the span of about a week. Okay, so be very, very careful if you're already long this ticker and if you have some profits on the table. Consider just taking them. Okay, because this is still has some downside to go. All right, you guys. So yeah, let's go ahead and just finish off ticker symbol XELA and continue on with our analysis. Okay, so this was actually, I think, Daniel, I believe, Aguero, or freaking heck, I forgot his name, but he asked me for ticker symbol UNCY. Okay, so ticker symbol UNCY has had just an enormous pump to the upside, and I have a lot of warning. To do this. Thank you, Mark Roach. Please, guys, like and subscribe. Make sure to hit that bell icon so you can get the notification every time I do release a video, right, you guys? Thank you so much. That's actually something I don't say all the time, as I always try to do the YouTube thing as fast as possible so I don't lose the attention, right? So ticker symbol UNCY definitely has a little bit of a danger in play, okay? And why am I saying that? Thank you, One Fix It Man. Really appreciate your help, my dude. I'm saying that because earnings is coming up. And that's not me telling you that I know what's going to happen, but I would really appreciate it if you can look down below here and see that it's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 consecutive earnings misses from the beginning of the trading of the asset forever. Okay, so yes, I know I've already said that earnings plays are inverse and they don't always lead to the upside, right? But this looks like it. We're going to verify this, okay? First of all, we're going to verify this and we'll validate it. But my own just like 2 cents before we look at any charts or any indicators or any potentials, I just want to tell you that, you know, this looks like a huge freaking bull trap, okay? I'm not certain of it, but we'll validate it right now. Let me take a quick sip of water before I give some bad news over here. So yeah, let's. I don't mean to laugh. It's just, this is crazy. How the heck does that happen? Why did it even happen in the first place? Oh, goodness gracious. We're looking at, where did it go? 500% to the upside, man. Yeah, that's a ridiculous gap. So like I've said before, guys, we have to take into consideration the gap that was created. Of course, right? So within this gap, when you're looking at just a huge gap like this, the gap turns into a multi-zone of supports to the downside, because not everyone is gonna use the gap the way it's supposed to be used. First of all, why did the price action start here? Why didn't it start there? Why didn't it start down here? I don't know, but the price action starting here is aligned with these right over here pretty nicely, right? We have the resistance from all of these candles here. We have the support touches from all of these candles here. So yeah, why not, right? So another thing that we can do is potentially take a fib and try to see if we're following some type of geometric format, right? So go ahead and notice 1.618 located right there. Okay, so I just want to show you how sometimes the upsides and the targets that are being presented are very, very obvious. So thank you, my brother. Really appreciate you, dude. So someone pumped this for sure? No way. I mean, they pumped it to a very specific area. Okay, so I don't know if smart money was already in it, right? So we have an upside continuation on that RSI daily, right? So another let's see, so many pump and dumps everywhere. Yeah, dude. So that's not me. And I know you're not saying it's me, but I just want to kind of iterate it to the public that yes, it is definitely not me who's going to create any type of pump and dump, because I don't believe that. I actually, if you are here, if you are listening to Arca, that's probably because you have a good idea as to what trading actually means. All right, so you guys know I very rarely focus on any fundamental metrics. Everything I do are based on mathematical models. Okay, so the fact that you're listening to me, the fact that you're here means that you actually have a clue, right? So I very much appreciate everybody for stopping by. Okay, so now let's validate. Let's just see what it has in store for us. Okay, we're going to take a look at volatility momentum, both in the RSI and the stochastic momentum as well. Okay, so 30-minute immediate short-term time frame still suggesting a massive upside. Okay, so we are crossing above that 14-day simple moving average, approaching the gravitational zone. Looks great. What's the cap on this? Let's look. 40.43 on the market cap, and we have a small float of 9 mil. Okay, so this is definitely micro. All right, so another thing to kind of notice here is it may be a little bit better to see on the, yeah, definitely better to see on this. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a bearish formation. I'm not saying that it doesn't have any more upside to go, because in fact, historically speaking, this iteration here on the RSI has about 87.02%, and we have an upside continuation, that's pretty moonshot to me, right? So, but this is reminding me of TRKA a little bit, right? So what I'm looking at here is actually a rising wedge, and this rising wedge is kind of it's a pretty normal freaking bearish formation, right? So, and it's funny that it's actually being taken into account like this, right? So this is a bearish formation, suggests a downside when we're typically at about 65 to 70% to the apex of the triangle. Okay, so it looks like we're arguably about 60%. So yeah, if we still have some upside to go, very likely this can actually continue on an upside, and very likely can continue to a very strong area of resistance. If we're looking at the buy hourly, we can see this in any time frame really. Okay, but I want to give you a range because there is a gap here on the buy hourly that it's very important for us to keep in consideration. Okay, because not only is it the gap, but also all of this as resistance. Okay, so that's an incredibly important target for us to keep in mind. Okay, so let's just go ahead and take a resistance range and put it right there. Okay, so now from the current price action that we've done, right, we can actually take an overall. Let me see. I'm going to do something special here so that we can see what we have. All right. So now let me go up to the 8-hour and I'm going to show you a couple things. Okay. So let me take now into consideration, not the range. I want to take it from the top wick right up here to the very lower end, a fib retracement, right? So let's see what it's got for us if we did do that, right? So let's go ahead and just take it to that level right there. And let's match this up. So go ahead and notice that the top side of this resistance is right below the 3.618 golden mean, right above the 3.272. If we're looking at the shorter time frame, then we were looking at a resistance. Let me see where the candle is, right? So the candle right now actually surpassed the 4.618 in a smaller time frame, but that's not what we were looking for. We were looking for why we even started in this area in the first place, right? So geometrically speaking, it's a tremendously heavy resistance in this area here, okay? And the fact that we're already critically overbought, and the fact that we have volatility versus momentum on the minimum 8 hour right now already at overbought with critical volatility, yeah, I can see a continuation to the way up per the 30-minute time frame, but very likely to face resistance at that 324 level if it is even in the case that it reaches that high. Okay, so, oh my goodness. David, what is up, my dude? Good to see you tonight. It's not on the list, but I was actually going to make a dedicated video to CRTD tomorrow, since we're doing the live today. So, but nonetheless, I will go ahead and put it as a reminder here. And if I'm not able to get to it tonight, because it's kind of a full schedule, right? If I'm not able to get to it tonight, we will certainly release that dedicated video tomorrow. Good to see you, David. Thanks for stopping by. So guys, let's go ahead and now validate or continue validating a potential downside, okay? Because it's imminent, right? So another thing is, guys, is that if you're looking at indicators like these, yes, they help out a lot, right? They can certainly help. So the problem here is that they're averaged. That means that they can essentially overbuy forever. So if sentiment felt the need to really take this thing to $100, then so be it. But you're just gonna see all of these indicators at just continue, and you're just gonna see red bars on the volatility, red bars. So they're not capped to whatever the top side of what you're looking at, right? So because if you just start to zoom out, then you can see that, yeah, we can continue onwards and upwards, but we have to focus on the historical value too, okay? Because right here, for example, the 12-hour momentum, let me make it a little bigger, right? So historically speaking, we have a high of about, let's see, 100 spot, let's just say 100%, right? So this is maxed out. So we do have that potential, right? And we've only retraced from the current area exactly where we are. We've retraced from it already one time. So now that means that we have 1, 2, and 3 chances to get to the very top side of the stochastic momentum, very, very, very overbought area, right? So if I'm telling you that if we're looking at very close, I mean, we're getting very close to that resistance level. We're critically overbought in the RSI and approaching a very, very distinct resistance zone, what's called an inflection point. Very likely this is a bull trap. Okay, so it doesn't always happen. Like I said, I'm just telling you that the likelihood of this being a bull trap is greater. The probabilities are kind of favoring the bears in this point. Okay, huge short position here. Huge opportunity to make a big downside move for the shorts, okay? And I'm talking about a quick swing play, man. Potential. Let's see, guys. If some of you are students of the master's course, right? The ARC master's course, it is going to be a dead requirement for you to understand, and I will teach you the short bias as well. Okay, we can't play this. We can't play this unless we know defense and offense. Okay, you cannot tell me that you're going to go into a basketball game and then they tell you have to play defense. I'm like, what? I don't play defense. I don't know how to play defense. No, you got to play it. You got to know it. Okay, so in this case, 65% to the downside from the top side target that we're looking at. You definitely know. Bears are eyeballing that. Okay, so be very careful with this. If you're already long this ticker, if you have profits in the table, consider removing immediately. Remember, I'm just suggesting that as a friend, as an entertainer, not as a financial advisor. I have to say that crap, guys. All right, so now let's go ahead and just end the ticker symbol UNCY, because that could actually present a very nice short position. Okay, so guys, let me just put it this way. If you short this ticker $30,000, you're not gonna move it. Right, so you're not gonna move this ticker. It's $2.87. That's getting into small cap, right? So why I'm saying this is because there's a lot of yes, borrowing something that's not yours and selling it is already kind of, a lot of people frown upon that, right? So it's capitalism, and it's presented and it's given to us as an opportunity for some reason. So we must understand it regardless of us taking the position or not. right? So it doesn't mean that you have to trade it. It just means that you have to know the strategy behind a short bias, right? So that we can see how they play it alongside how we play it. All right, you guys. So it's very important that we can see the offense and defense. Okay, so I'm late to the dance party, says Mark Roach. Mark Roach, dude, thank you for all your help, my dude. Very, very much appreciate you all the time. So guys, that is it. Let's go ahead and wrap it up for ticker symbol UNCY. This was a very good ticker for us to actually evaluate together, as it did show us a lot of good stuff. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move on to the next ticker, guys, and that's going to be SBNY, another ticker that I'm not really familiar with. And I think it was recommended by, I don't know who it was. I think it was actually recommended before the last live stream, actually on Thursday, right? But yeah, let me go ahead and take a quick sip of water here. And yeah. So what are we getting long? Chat, let me know. What are you guys? Thank you, One Fixed, man. That really means a lot, dude. So what are, chat, please dive in. What are we getting long? What are we shorting? What are we doing? What are you guys looking at? But please remember, I also said tend to, maybe consider staying on the sidelines for the CPI read. But I want to know what's in your minds. So CLXT Biology Company engages in delivering plant-based solutions primarily to the agricultural and end market. Okay, wait, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so it's in the U.S. The company is involved in the development of improved digestibility. Nice, man. Oh my goodness. So Mr. Levitt's coming in with a hot one saying, Arca, I have a forecast. You will have 10K subs in a month. Oh my goodness. Now you just made Arca have to work really hard to meet that quota. Moderator Cal L saying, congrats on the 6K subs mark. By the way, Arca, thank you so much, my dude. I actually didn't even know that I crossed it until I was at 6,100, and I'm not even sure where I am now, which is very, very humbling, right? As I appreciate the spread of the Arca Bulls family moving very fast, right? I really do want to show a different perspective here, guys. Another way of trading, and a way that the institutions trade, more importantly than not, right? So, Beso Amy, thank you so much. Mr. Levitt saying it's going to be a sub squeeze. Fern 5, what is up, my dude? I am a long 10X too, my bro. We're about to 10X our gains on that. So, yeah, so let's go ahead and now, bro, no, man, you're the man, dude. Thank you so much. That really means a lot, dude. It really does mean a lot. I mean the help. Okay, you guys. So let's start it off, guys. We're gonna do ticker symbol MVOS for sure. Man, you know what? I'm gonna put it up here as a reminder because I actually haven't even looked into it apart from Wednesday. I think it was last week, right? So I'll put it on there. We'll look at it, right? I mean, but please remember, we're marking already all the areas that we were looking for support, right? So, I mean, this is dangerous, guys. The potential floor, guys, this was not from the last one, by the way. That potential floor, for your information, was over here, okay? Don't try to catch me slipping. All right, man. So, no, I haven't seen it, but I'll go ahead and leave it on there. It still has downside if you want me to be clear with you, okay? Just real quick for you. Looking at 1274 to about 1250 in the coming 2 to 3 days. All right, so be very careful with that. So let me go ahead and continue, guys. SNBY. And yeah, like I said, I'm not exactly sure who recommended this ticker, but I'm more than happy to look at it. And this is really crazy because we're riding. I mean, it couldn't get more macro than this, right? This is the weekly time frame, guys. I'm talking about from 2008, okay? So look at the capitulation, right? Literally, the 2008 to 2009 freaking subprime mortgage crisis. We literally were just talking about that, right? So huge capitulation event. So we broke to the downside as per expected because ascending channels are bearish. Okay, so the next step on this, of course, we're on the weekly, right? So I just want you to notice just how relevant everything is, right? We had that support touch, bounce to the upside, and now we actually came back down. But if you haven't noticed, we actually haven't tested the resistance, right? So again, this is a really exaggerated distance from the current price action. We're at $70 bucks, right? And this is $117. So please know Please know that I'm not suggesting for it to get there immediately. I'm just saying that eventually it may actually try that. Now, we're looking at a market cap here of a massive 4 billion with a float of a tiny 62.9 million. Okay, so heavy. It looks like the demand is actually finally starting to diminish over here, right? So so now let's validate to see if there's any upside or downside regarding this ticker. Okay, so please notice on the daily RSI, we have a nosedive still presented. And if we can look historically to see if there's any potential saving grace as an area for, wow, it actually could be at the virus dump. No, never mind. I'm sorry. The virus dump was actually somewhere back here or something, right? Oh, yeah. That was totally it. Right around there. Okay, so the lows of, oh man, no way. Please don't tell me that that's going to be the next area. Okay, so yeah, I want to focus on these support touches here. Okay, that's about, yeah, that's over half a year of support and resistance. Okay, so yeah, very, very likely it's on the way to that target. Man, that's a really deep capitulation. I'm not sure what happened with this, guys, but you already know that I don't really care, but it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and just look at this as, yeah. So this is that spot, right? So EPAZ and COSM, Sebastian Lim, I think I might actually have to get back to you in private, but I really appreciate that, dude. That really means a lot. So let me just go ahead and make sure. Thank you for your donation, dude. So let me put it in here. I don't want to pick your pockets like that, dude. So EPAZ and COSM. Thanks, dude. I really appreciate that. So you and I are going to talk. Not that we don't already, right? We always do, right? So, and again, if you've already messaged me, I'm sorry that I haven't replied, but let's continue. Okay, so the downside target that I'm looking at for this, guys, could be very likely found at 57.47, of which is just a massive loss from where we are now. Let me see the 12-hour. 12-hour 71.13. Okay, so let's measure the potential loss from the continuation to the downside, because this is very likely type of short-term dead cat bounce, and you're looking at an additional 19% to the downside from the current price action. Okay, so let's look at the buy hourly and just see what we're doing. Okay, because this is, or the hourly could be, hourly or 30-minute could be showing us that dead cat. Yeah, this is essentially what I'm looking at, right? So guys, look at this. Immediate short-term time frame downside suggestion looks to be limited. We have the 14-day simple right below us, right, as the form of support, but we can't trust that too well because it is the hourly, the higher time frames, right? I hear that a lot for sure. I hear that it's not a recession coming, it's actually a depression coming, and that's very dangerous. 4-hour time frame suggesting an upside though, and it looks to be limited. As we have the 14-day simple right above us, okay? And also volatility versus momentum suggesting an upside on this as well. But remember, 4 hours, this is likely to live out within 1 day. Okay, so let's see the 8-hour and see what it's got for us, okay? 8-hour also looks to be trying to set itself up for an upside move, but we have a huge nosedive on the RSI, which I have to give some weight. So what I'm essentially saying is that SBNY could be setting up for a pretty powerful move from the 57.47 zone, and actually it would be a range, right, from our current wick low, which is 61.38, all the way down to the 57.47 target that we're looking at for a pretty substantial bounce. We have volatility versus momentum suggesting a prime setup on many time frames now. So you're looking at, let's see, yeah, wow, look at this. So critical volatility, sort of upside pivot. Yeah, critical volatility and upside pivot here on the buy hourly. 4 hour, same situation there. 6 hour, same situation there. 8 hour, same situation there. I'm talking about oversold momentum and critical volatility expanded, right? So now the 12-hour also, man, yeah, guys, there's something going on here, and very okay, so the 3-day suggesting that slight downside, which is honestly favoring that target that we're looking at. Very likely this is setting up a huge move, and if it does set up that huge move to the upside, that could be the reason to come back and test this gap here on the 3-day and or the resistance of our channel, of which is going to be the conversion, the official validation that we are in a bear trend. Okay, so, and the fact that it's, let me see, very interesting. Yeah, I could definitely see a touch back down to this area here, followed by a massive bounce. And if it does face a bounce to the upside from our bottom side target, very likely a 107.94% to the upside. We have almost every time frame validating that potential move, even into, yeah. So here's the 5-day suggesting still some downside. Yeah, I'm looking at this target, guys. I don't think I'm going to back down from that target that I'm giving you. Right, so if I'm able to determine that, it's going to be a little difficult for me to actually see that, right? But let me take into consideration an inverse fib from the last 4-hour iteration that we printed, right? So, yeah, take a look. 1.618 landing right in between. So it's geometrically, it's got a geometric potential and also a historical potential. Historical, why? Because of the supports right back over there that we were looking at, right? The resistances. I know I'm on the 4-hour chart here like a lazy ass, right? So let me just go back to the daily. There you go. Because of these, okay? So historical support and mathematical support with momentum, with physics backing it, yeah, there is a pretty interesting setup coming along, and I don't think it's necessarily a bear trap. I actually do think it's the shaking hands of a bear and a bull, right at this point. Meaning, bears cover position, longs get long, so meaning that a huge move to the upside based on covering and buy pressure to eventually realize the top side of these targets here. Of course, it's going to take days and days to get there, maybe even a week or so. But still, it's a pretty nice play coming up. We should keep an eye on this ticker SBNY. But it is bearish for now, guys. Remember, it is bearish for now. Okay, take into consideration the space between here, this space. If you need to take a type of screenshot, right? So that's kind of, I mean, it's expensive, right? So I'm not even, I think this thing is playing options too. So it could be a good hedge against longs, because this is and actually let me see how it's, I mean, it's incredibly volatile. So, but I mean, in a regular day, let's see the average volume. Damn, it's actually pretty high, 4.23 mil on average. That's not bad, and it could have been flashed to the upside because of what's happening now, though. Okay, but if we're looking at a normal trading range like this here, I want to take into consideration a quick little measurement and see what it's got. So 13% to the upside. Yeah, this thing can easily make some pretty nice trading ranges. But in this case, I'm not looking at a trading range. I'm looking at a pretty substantial bounce to the upside, of which, remember, guys, it doesn't always have to meet this target here, but sometimes it'll fake out and then continue downside, right? And then it'll come back up, and then a week later it'll touch there. It's just, it can be highly volatile, is what I'm saying at this point, because a lot of sentiment, a lot of psychology is in deep fear that they're going to lose all of their money forever, right? So yeah, and man, look at this. Crypto world just in the red. My goodness, man, guys, everything is just so crappy right now. I really hope the freaking, what's his name, Jay Powell, comes in here and just declares a bailout, because that would essentially help everyone, including him. That would probably be the best decision possible. All right, so guys, that is going to do it for ticker symbol SBNY. I do like the ticker. We should consider keeping an eye on it, because that is setting up a pretty nice move to the upside. All right, so I like it. All right, so let's go ahead and now finish off that ticker and move on to the next one, which is absolutely one that a lot of people have been anticipating. Okay, so yeah, man, I hope he removes the damn rate hikes. Jeez, man. Powell's scoping. He's scooping up the cheap tickers first. That would be highly illegal, man. That would be very undesirable for his thank you, One Fix It, man. That means a lot, dude. So Runsat1 saying crypto is red because of all the banks that, yeah, of course. There were actually a few banks that were long that had a USDC, sorry, the stable coin. I think a lot of people were backing it with the Silicon Valley Bank, right, or something like that. I read it. It was just it's just such a disaster, man. And man, somebody's got to make a movie out of this, man, because it's just, we're talking FTX, we're talking Luna, the virus dump. It's just all of that crap. Everything just led to that downside. So guys, we're going to move on to ticker symbol TENX, right? Because this this ticker is absolutely showing a lot of promise, right? And it has a high amount of interest in it, not only from retail, but also from influencers, okay? So the Big Short 2.0, right? So, and because if he doesn't stop it, then for sure it would. I mean, not only the fact that we're not down already, just so deep into the ground, and crypto being down like 60%, right? So, I mean, it could fall. It could still continue on to the downside, man. So guys, yes. So let's go ahead and look at ticker symbol 10x. No, I haven't talked about BBBY, and in fact, I don't think I can even get to it. So many tickers to look at, but I'll put it on there anyway. I don't want to, be unfair to people, right? So let me just put BBBY on there and have it on the schedule nonetheless. Okay, so I wanted to show you this, okay, you guys. So if you're curious as to what I'm doing and why I haven't sent out your welcome packages for the master students, is because I'm trying to get some indicators ready that I'm developing myself. Okay, so this being one of them, and this is called the Arc Vol Plus. Okay, so what I am doing here is actually a volume-based volatility band that actually suggests buy zones and sell zones. Okay, so now it does have a trailing stop. So in other words, I'm creating an Arca bot. Okay, that I can actually trade your portfolio for you. Does that sound like magic? Is that lunacy? So the thing actually has stop losses in place and actually just trades through the night without you doing anything. So this is something that I am in development of, and it's actually taken me some time to actually put together, right? But it is an Arca script. Okay, so as you can see right up here, Arc Vol Plus. Okay, so now this, I'm having a little bit of trouble right now because if you can see here, I have a drawback of about 47.68%, but please notice the win rate. I'm looking at 68.52% profitability, and also you're looking at a 1,079% to the upside based on a $1,000 portfolio. Okay, so I'm in the process of optimizing this. I'm in the process of optimizing the Arca bot. Okay, so Arca bot, is that for TradingView? Yes, it is. It is for TradingView. This is native to the PineScript language. Okay, so I'm optimizing it. I'm currently in the development of it. I just want to get my drawbacks to be a little less volatile, right? So I get it. 47% is nothing to 1,000% gain, right? I like it. So on average right now, I'm looking at about scalps that are 7%, right? So you're looking at about a $30 in and out, just scalping it on the 15-minute chart, and you would not do anything. So this is why I've been a little missing in action from the Arc Masters course news, right? As I am in development for something. The ticker mater. Joe H. Oh my goodness, you guys. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, guys. It's looking pretty good thus far though, but Arca is on his way to make some pretty interesting moves in the in the AI world. So this will be the Arca AI. Let's go. Basically me saying you never stop. No, I definitely do not, guys. I definitely don't, because I feel like there's man, this has taken days and days and days and hours and hours and hours to develop, right? So it's just an algorithmic system that I'm putting together, not only for retail, but it's also in respects to the potential talent that I may or may not be finding based on the master students that are already signed up for, right? So in other words, I am in the process of creating a team, a trading team. And based on your grades, based on your final upon the Arc Masters course completion, you could be considered into joining that team, right? So very interesting times coming in for the Arca Bulls family, guys. Now you can say, you suck, Arca, you don't know nothing. So One Fixed Man saying, my average goal is 10 to 20K shares and 14 cents. Nice, man. That would be highly cool. All right, so guys, let's go ahead and quit the shilling right now. I'm only longing Arca at this point, my dude. I really appreciate you, man. That really makes a lot of sense. So stylistically, I think it's coming along pretty nice, right? I added these little green bands every time it suggests buy, little red bands every time it suggests sell, right? And now a very interesting thing here is that every time that RSI dips below the 48%, we have a red indication every time it dips below it gets critical. And then when you move upside of the 52%, it gets green. And then it gets really bright green when it goes above the whatever zones. You get it, guys. So enough with the shilling, and let's go ahead and get in touch with that ticker symbol TENX and see what it's got for us. But I just wanted to show you guys what I'm doing, right? So I'm definitely not bumming around. I'm not bumming around. I'm actually working pretty nice for what you guys have already provided for me, okay? So I appreciate everybody, okay? Mr. Levitt saying, looks sexy as heck, Arca man. Thanks, dude. Really appreciate you. So guys, yeah, let's look at TENX, because TENX has, actually, you know what? Let me see if I had this as a preload, because I remember speaking to everybody about those targets on Thursday, I think. I'm not too sure, but let's just go ahead and pull that up. Sorry, I was just writing into my notes. So this one here, I think this was the one. Okay. All right. So nice. It actually found the bounce. Okay. So, but guys, remember that we were talking about coming back down to about the 33.22 to 30.39 with the potential of just, if sentiment does its thing, then I'm just going to take it to the upside. Full transparency here. I'm actually long this 57 cents way against any of rules. And I'm like, what? How did it move up all this? And I'm like, I kind of chased it a little bit, right? So Arca is a 400-pound beauty. I am definitely not 400 pounds. I am significantly more slender than 400 pounds, Mark Roach. All right, so please notice on the 12-hour RSI that we have just a moonshot right over here, okay? So still suggesting upside, okay? Damn it, I wish I would have gotten long on this, like, heavier. Oh, God. Sometimes sentiment just takes it to the moon, guys. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, right? So, Joe H, but can it 10x? Because it's 10x to the downside, bro. So let's see what it's moved so far. Oh, no way. All right, so from Friday, it's moved 58%, 59% to the upside already. This is ridiculous. So, Edwin Del Castillo, what's up, man? So, and you chased that 58 firm 5. You got in? You were just as bad as I was, man. I was like, what? This thing is not going to come back. It already turned the SMA 10 in the 12 hours of support. Very, very likely continuing on an upside here. And Fern 5 said, yes, sir. Let's go. All right. So please go ahead and refer to the momentum versus volatility profile that we were looking at on Thursday. And we essentially said that we were looking for the curvature to officially fire here. And Pabon chased at 54. My dude, you got it. Oh, man. So for sure, we're going to take a look to see the potentials. Is it too late to get? Is it too late? I'm not sure, man, but we're going to take a look right now and find out. So yes, we're continuing on the expansion phase right now, and we still have an upside pivot. Okay, so very likely the shorter time frames are probably already in extreme expansion. So let's go ahead and move down. All right, so right here, we're getting super close to that upside pivot on the 8-hour. Let's go to the 6-hour. Okay, you see how we're getting closer and closer to the critical expansion. Upside pivot on momentum. Let's go to the 4-hour. Oof, everything is suggesting upside. Nice. And here it goes. Okay, so the buy daily is literally about 1.5% from critical volatility with a massive upside pivot showing. Okay, this is the bullish control zone. Okay, this upper half of the stochastic momentum. If you are curious as to what this freaking indicator even is in the first place, Well, it's a momentum-based indicator similar to an RSI. Okay, so in this case, it uses two metrics to gauge its bias, and those metrics are represented by a K% and a D%. Okay, so that D% represents a 3-day exponential moving average, and the K% represents a 14-day simple moving average. Okay, so the combination of an exponential versus simple. Okay, so now why are they following so close to each other? Well, because the 3-day exponential moving average follows exponential price action, meaning very close to the price action. Simple moving average is just a more gradual, smoother averaged moving average alongside the price action, right? So those are the differences between exponentials and simples. Okay, so in this case, the 14 and the 3 tend to make a good pair when price action is suggesting upside or downside. Okay, so this is why. Now, if you're curious as to the percentages, oversold is signaled below 20%, and overbought signals above 80%. Okay, so quite different from an RSI where you have a 70 and a 30. All right, so in this case, yes, we still have a bullish control zone and we have a bearish control zone. Okay, and in the opposition of RSI, there are gravitational zones, but in this stochastic momentum, I don't tend to look at gravitational zones. I tend to look at only the bullish and the bearish control zone and the pivot. Okay, you guys. So now moving on to the hourly, there could be a slight pullback coming in, as we are already in critical volatility here, 91%, and we are getting into the oversold percentile. Okay, so that just means that very likely in the hourly, we can face a resistance from the SMA 200 being at 83.55 from 71.60. Very, very likely we can find resistance at that hourly 200-day simple moving average and then come back. Okay, I'm not talking about back forever because this is going to be a very, very short-term pullback. Okay, meaning that could be the area where we can potentially get long the stock. All right, so let me just go ahead and minimize the view on these metrics here so that we can see the price action a little bit clearer. Okay, so let's go ahead and now load up our surgical moving averages, the 7-period and 30-period exponential moving averages. Okay, so they're not going to serve too well for us right now because they're still within every other moving average that's below us. Okay, so all right, so let's just look at the fibs then. So current swing high to the current swing low. And it's okay, so we would indicate, all right, well, first of all, the top side of the resistance, I'm going to give you a range right now, okay, because there is a lot to do here with the 1.618 and this wick high. Okay, this is essentially what I'm looking at, and it just so happens to be all between the 1.272 and the 1.618. The geometrics would definitely suggest a pullback from this area here to come back and potentially test the 1 fib, which would be our current highs, 72.95. That area could potentially be one of those entries. Okay, so if there is a very aggressive and conservative entry, a very conservative like I'm talking extreme conservative here. Okay, it would be located in this zone here, which would be near the 0.618, because there's a gap. Very likely we can use that as a support, right? So you're looking at 64.70 to 62.28, but I can't guarantee that we can actually go down that low from a pump to the upside in these areas here. Okay, so the better likelihood, or the higher likelihood, would be the current highs of about 72.95. So that would be the most aggressive entry that anybody could do upon an asset that's already moving on to the upside. The most aggressive entry would literally be at about 77.78, and that's a very dangerous area to enter because you're at overextension in any, like, by all means there. Okay, so the best bet would actually waiting for it to come back to 72.95. Scalp strategies usually wait for the pump to the upside, let it cool off, come back down here, right? Let the fear instill in the longs from this area because they'll likely stop out and or pull their profits, pressuring the price to the downside, of which we can face a potential 72.95 to the best case scenario about 64.61. In that event, an entry could be potential there for a continuation onto the upside very, very significantly, okay? Because it looks like the daily volatility versus momentum is just starting to contract, And let me get rid of this. And we're starting to get the short-term 3-day exponential with an upside pivot right now. So yeah, this is, and look at this. We're starting to get the curvature to the upside. Very likely this can continue on to the upside for a few days. Okay, so we're critically expanded and oversold in almost every single time frame. This is a huge setup, you guys. Okay, so like I said, there are some very aggressive entries and some very conservative entries. Okay, so consider the probabilities first. All right, you guys. So is this about to reach an RS? Is that the case? I mean, earnings is not coming up until April 3rd, and it looks like they're very likely this is just going to be movers. Oh, so look at this sector update. Healthcare stocks unable to establish direction. How the heck? February 3rd. Okay, so that's very likely where all this was happening. So I don't know of any current news that's happening within this, but yeah, AC, the Discord is free. Go ahead, man. Just join up. And it's gonna be free for now, right? Until we can grandfather some people in and then apply some tier systems, which then I'll be able to introduce better and better services, right? As I do start to kind of find what Arca even is, me, right? So because remember, I've actually been only influencing in YouTube for about 4 months, I think. it's not. And there's such a high expectation for like what I'm doing, right? So, yeah, I'm in the process of finding myself in general, right? So 10x, guys, 10x. Remember the entries that I'm telling you about, okay? So we're looking at conservative, the most conservative entry and lesser likelihood, okay, would potentially be that 64.70 to 62.28. And the aggressive entries would be at about 68.89, right in this zone here. Okay, 68.55, even that. But the reason why I'm suggesting these downside entries, even though we're on the upside right now, is because we have to wait for this thing to pull back. Go ahead and notice right here. In the 8-hour time frame, you have the SMA 50 right at the 1.618, right at the candle that we're looking at, right? So very likely, guys, very likely we can find a resistance there and come back and test our current highs. All right, so that's essentially what I'm looking at for 10x, and it's very sad that we're not going to be rating these tickers tonight because I really want everybody to be safe upon the CPI read on Tuesday. Okay, so that's incredibly important. Where is this Arca? Oh my dude, I don't know, but this is me speaking, right? So I'm in the process of finding myself, and I think. Some education is where it's leading to. So I love it. I love it. It's just to share the knowledge with people. I don't care to share it. I don't care to share it. A lot of people think that, oh, some traders are very they're very selfish with their strategies, and they won't say it out loud, right? In fear that you're just gonna use their strategy and do whatever. So I really don't care because I'll give you every single secret in the world. That never means that your particular individual persona is going to trade it the way I trade it, right? So this is why I don't care. And in fact, it's just helping out retail, which is the real reason why we should be all kind of focusing around each other and trying to be there for each other. It's for us, right? So who cares about the rest, guys? So that's going to do it, guys, for ticker symbol 10X. I'm very excited for it. So let's now move on to the next very anticipated ticker, Sig Vicious. Yes, I definitely love you guys. And I love you too, my dude. Thank you so much. Yeah, not a problem, bro. Saying Arca, thanks, bro. Dude, thank you. Thank you for participating and for showing your support here. All right, so the next one up is the very anticipated ticker symbol VS, of which we are so mad about. All right, so I want to give you guys a perspective here because there was a setup that we were looking for a pretty much a 100% move to the upside, right? So I'm not exactly sure if that move is now initiated upon. The thing was that I was saying that on a broadening ascending wedge, we have tests 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a bunch of tests of the upside, which usually invalidate this, the upside. I'm sorry, the downside thesis. So I said that there's a high likelihood. Thanos, is it Thanos because of the rhyme there? Dude, thank you so much. So now, in your respect and Sebastian Lim, I will actually release a dedicated video for you both, okay? But I can't do it tonight, but I will absolutely release it tomorrow, okay? Because I already have another donation regarding COSM. And so in your respect and also Sebastian Lim, I will be sure to release that COSM video, a dedicated video for you tomorrow, okay? So thank you, by the way. Your donation means a lot. Thank you so much. Okay, so COSM for sure tomorrow on my notes. You see that? Now it's a very for sure thing. So, and saying, thanks, man. You are the best. Holding 1,500 of COSM. Dude, there are plenty of people long COSM in this chat right now as we speak. Guys, please throw an A in the chat if you are long COSM at the current moment. Please let me know if you are long COSM at this very moment. I just want to see if we can gauge some understanding. So damn, you're 1,700 long COSM. Holy crap, my dude. So Mr. Levis, 5,000 share COSM. Sebastian Lim holding COSM as well. Dude, 1,700 shares. That's insane. That's awesome. So yeah. There's definitely. So Stick Vicious saying just a little. Samantha H, long on COSM. Mark Roach, oh my goodness. Yeah, me too, man. So Christopher saying long on COSM. That's why I'm telling you, my dude. So Mark Roach, A, oh my goodness. Nice, guys. You have 100 shares, Jordan. Very cool, dude. Very cool. And Basil Amy saying A, large. I love it, man. So yeah, in respects to you and Sebastian, the thing is, we'll definitely, Mike, wow, 1,000 shares, dude. That's awesome. And I do believe in the company. You know, there's a lot of good stuff happening within that ticker. So, I mean, and it has the volatility to play it, by the way. So I know I kind of stirred away right now from ticker symbol VS. My apologies, but I just wanted to show some people, right? So GNS2, nice, man. And you have a micro position, Samantha H. I actually liquidated my position, but I wish I would have gotten long too. So you pick Mr. Levis. I picked up COSM when Lou was pumping it. Damn. So you're in a loss right now, or what? I don't mean to say it in that manner. I'm just saying because it dropped a lot, right? And then it also lifted off a lot. So I hope you're not in the loss, and I hope we can get into that. We micro. I hope we can get to the average, bro. That's what I'm saying. But yes, I expect a video from me tomorrow for COSM, you guys. I really appreciate everybody. Oh, so you're slightly in the loss. That's not even bad, bro. Okay, good. So we'll see what I can do. So a broker debacle. Yeah, for real. Oh my goodness. Anyway, you guys, so we're gonna look at ticker symbol VS and see if it has that potential that we're looking for. Okay, so I'm actually gonna maybe consider adjusting the time on this because we started off a little later than expected. Let's see. So, Rung Sat saying there's low fear of dilution in TENX. Had an offering last month. Nice, man. Oh, I see massive upside for TENX, bro. And it's potentially for days and days and days. XX, Lou has some moves. Oh my goodness, man. I used to watch that guy a lot. But nonetheless, guys, let's continue this, okay? So let's continue on. Thank you, Mark. Gotcha. Cal, rest well, my dude. I will talk to you in the wee hours of the morning, potentially, if I'm not already asleep, dude. Love you, buddy. I'll catch you soon. Thanks for your help, by the way, dude. Yeah, including myself, guys. It's very rare that I mention other influencers, right? So in this case, let's just go ahead and continue on ticker symbol VS because it is presenting an opportunity, and I'm not exactly sure if this opportunity is gonna last, right? Because we're at a critical resistance, and that resistance is actually this ascending channel that we were looking at for quite some time. Okay, so please notice that we actually tapped that resistance and we came right back down. So, Baso Amy saying, I only have ears for Arca. Devil horns up in the air. Thank you, Baso Amy. So, here we go, you guys. Let's just make sure that we can look at our, it was on a daily BBWP, of which we saw 34 iterations that were guessed correctly to the upside 22. Okay, so, and it gave us a 64 spot, 70% move to the upside. But that was corrected. I remember I corrected it based on, I forgot what. I haven't looked at this in quite some time. And the signal did fire here, and it's creating a higher. Okay, so the signal is actually still on. We haven't even gone to contraction, which means that it hasn't been invalidated. Wow. Okay, so huge RSI upside. Let's go to the 30-minute immediate short term to see what we have for this, okay? Because it is still, okay, potential loading zone coming up on the 30-minute. Ever so slightly, though. There is a support from that 14-day simple moving average right below the RSI signal. Let's go to the bi-hourly. Let's see. Bi-hourly is barely showing any weakness. We still have that 14-day simple pivoted straight to the upside. Lily's grandma, that's so kind of you. Thank you so much. That really means a lot. If there's anything I can do, please just don't hesitate to send me a direct message or an email or whatever. But I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. LYLT, I did. Let's come back to it right after this one, my dude. It was actually in your respect. It was your ticker. So yes, of course, we need to come back to. Oh, I have it in. I see why. I have it inverted here in my schedule. I have VS first and then LYLT. But yeah, nonetheless, it's next. All right. So guys, the bi-hourly is suggesting a continuation to the upside. So if we're looking at micro time frames here, okay, so micro time frames in the 15 minutes still upside. So in reference to the 30-minute, meaning that it could happen within the early pre-market. Okay, so if we are facing early pre-market downside, it may show us a potential, let's see, and it could actually be, let me get rid of this. If we're looking at just previous areas of support, oh man, no, it's actually still favoring this. Well, we have a gap there, right? So the top side of this gap here, guys. So that would be very likely a position to consider long this. Okay, so 77 14 to about 76 17 being the bottom side of that loading zone. Okay, so lots of areas of confluence here, and it's still suggesting a massive upside. Let's go to the 4-hour and see what it's got. So 4-hour RSI approaching the gravitational zone of the bull weakness percentile, very likely going to continue on to that upside. Wow. Okay, so now the 8-hour moonshot. There's no retracement on that 8-hour. Let's go to the 12. Okay, the 12 it's only retracing a little bit because it's in the gravitational zone here and also at resistance. No problem. Let's see the daily moonshot on the daily. Damn, making a very important cross right here. Look at this. So the 14-day simple getting crossed. Guys, this ticker upset me so bad. It was not supposed to capitulate this far and then continue on the upside. It's incredible how they play these games, but they know that they can't take it. They can't take it lower. I mean, dude, this was a bear trap the whole time. And buy daily still suggesting that upside. In fact, volatility versus momentum contracting and an upside pivot here too. This is very likely going to continue onwards and upwards for days, guys. So if we are going to reference that resistance range that we're looking at, very likely in the next day we can touch the range of about 89, 81. So that's let's see what percentage that can be. So actually from the loading zone, right? So from the top side of the loading zone, that could be, let me just come right under it, right? So it would be in respects to this candle here, the opening of this candle. That would be about a 20% move to the upside. So that's I'm not sure, but damn, dude. T Wood was the one that I remember was in this too, and I was in this too, man. I got stopped out. So and that was the whole purpose. That was the whole purpose behind the freaking institutions, just to stop out and shake out the people, and hence the name, Terminal Shakeout. You know, the spring happened. So they really did shake out a bunch of longs in this because they knew that they can't hold it back anymore. It's really primed for a pretty substantial upside. Okay, so in this case, yeah, you guys, this is primed for a very short-term pullback before a continuation onto the upside for a few days at least. So yeah, that ticker symbol VS looking pretty good, and nothing more to say other than that, right? So let me just go ahead and end off that ticker right there and continue on with the next ticker. So Jackson, I'm talking about ticker symbol VS. That's Versus Systems right over here. So this one very likely to continue on for another upside at least. You think that T-Wood might have held in there? Maybe so. I definitely got, my stop actually got triggered at about 63 cents at a 4% loss. So because I thought that was the bottom, right? But of course they would terminal shake out this thing and then go to the upside. So let's move on to the next ticker, guys, and that is gonna be LYLT. All right, so let me just set up this ticker, right? Because it looks like I didn't. What in the world are you talking about, Lil AR15? Where is your average? I don't like that. That is the biggest. Look at the volume, right? That is the biggest sell volume this thing has ever faced in its life. Oh my goodness, man. Thank you so much, Samantha H. That really means a lot. So yeah, I hope you're not in a losing position in this, dude. I don't even know why the hell it would go down that low, but that's a millionaire's shot for a short position. Right, so let's go and refer to the daily just like we always do, guys. Let's keep it short and simple. Let's load up our volatility represented by BBWP. Let's go ahead and load up our momentum, which is going to be stochastic momentum, and it's actually, I mean, it's free in TradingView. Okay, so I'm just going to load it up just like that. Let's take into consideration our SMAs and also an RSI. All right, all the basic essentials for us to gain some potentials, right? So the daily RSI actually, first of all, we have every known moving average as a resistance above. Okay, so on the daily. All right, so actually, let me see what the 2401, is that what we're sitting? Okay, and let me look at the 12-hour. 2420. Okay, so, oh man, look at that. Could it be ready for another 3 runs of that? I'm not exactly sure. Huge indecision candle printed on the 8-hour, meaning that we don't know if this is going to go to the upside or to the downside. But in respects to the 8-hour RSI, please go ahead and focus in here that historically speaking, we're just below. We already broke. This is a historic low in the 8-hour. Okay, we've already broken the lows from this date here, which is March 2022. All right, so this is already breaking that. We're at about 12.98%. Okay, so and with a tiny pivot to the upside, I never trust those. Okay, so let's continue on the analysis here. Let's see, tiny pivot on that 4-hour too. Can't trust that as well. Oh my goodness, man, this is looking like it's building a bear flag actually in the bi-hourly. 30-minute immediate short-term suggesting upside. Why the hell would it be suggesting upside? There could be, man, I can't trust that either. All right, dude. So the 15-minute suggesting a downside as well. So, but dude, the thing is that the bi-daily and the 3-day AR15, are you long this? Please don't tell me that you're long this. Please tell me that you shorted it. Bi-daily with a nosedive, the 3-day with a nosedive as well, 5-day with a nosedive, and we don't have any relevant setups coming up. Okay, so dude, in fact, the bi-daily is at critical volatility and suggesting downside. Okay, so very likely this can continue further capitulating unless sentiment just takes it to the upside. There's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can actually say. If it does face a short-term upside, I can tell you that the resistance zone, it would be highly probable to be found right at this gap, right here, and highly likely not going to cover it. So resistance at 34, or just about 34 cents before a continuation onto the downside. Okay, so now if you're looking at downside targets, there's the only thing that we can look at here, it would be geometrics, and there's no historical value for us to look at. Okay, so, and it looks like earnings are coming up, and that would be on Monday earnings for this. And please bear in mind, 3 earnings misses in a row. Okay, 2 before that were beats. I don't know. The things are looking pretty shady on this, okay? But there's a huge indecision candle here, and I honestly do favor maybe. Yeah, I definitely favor this being indecision. We don't know what's happening with this, dude. So be careful with this one, my man, because I definitely see some downside coming in. I can't measure psychology. Wow, year to date, minus 90.04%. Thanks, dude. Thank you, Rumsad. That's nice. Yeah, guys, this one is very dangerous. LYT absolutely facing a short-term upside. At the best case scenario, 33.96, which is actually a pretty good scalp trade, right? From the current price action to this area here is about a 41% move to the upside. But I do not think that I can reach all of that, right? So we have to look at the buy hourly and see the areas of resistance, because right over here we have two relevant areas of resistance, which then minimize that take profit zone to now about 25%. Okay, so if you go back down to the hourly, you'll likely start to see other areas. Okay, so in this case, no, even still, yeah, the 25% zone could be the highest area that it can go. No, I'm sorry, the second highest, right? So the first highest, yeah, the first highest would just be 25% to the upside based on these candles here, and then followed by that move to the upside, which I don't know. That's a lot to say, and that's a lot to give, considering what's happening here. Okay, so please be very careful, because that upside is confluent to a cup and handle. Okay, so if you're looking at a cup target, very likely it could last that. It could actually dive into that target there. And I don't like cups and handles. It's not credible enough. It doesn't have a good hit rate, right? So let's draw it in. So it would be yeah, it would be right at about here. Did I even get the damn tool? Come on, man. Embarrassing. Here we go. So this is very likely what's happening right over here. And we're at that. Yeah, we're at that zone. So the downside for the 30-minute, very likely to come and reaccumulate and then make that upside. So if we were to take a trend line from the top of the cup to the bottom side of the cup, that can give us an implied a target, and coming up to about, let's see, that's right about here, about 28.85, which is already similar to the daily target that I was, or 8-hour target I think I gave you, right? So that would be at the 25%. Let's see, 30.24. Yeah, so it's leading. Everything is kind of indicating that target. So very likely this thing could top out at about 30 cents before a continuation to the way down. So be careful with this one, man. Be super careful with this one. But I wanted to give it an explicit amount of attention just in case you are long this, right? So that's kind of what it's doing. Jackson07 saying I wouldn't buy any calls next few weeks, only puts. Man, it seems like it, man. It really does seem like it. Futures bloody, crypto bloody, lots of things that are bloody. The only things that are going to be green are potentially OTCs. You hear that little guy over there? He's like, daddy, 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 where you at? That's my little guy over there, just waiting for daddy to come out. He's still got about 13 minutes to chill. All right. Tell him, guys. Tell him, James, you got to hang out just for a little bit. Daddy's almost done. All right. So that's it for ticker symbol LYLT. Okay. So little AR-15, please be careful with this one. All right, my dude. And if you do feel like you need to reach out to me, go ahead and do so on the Discord or Twitter DMs, and we could talk about this. Okay, man. So be very careful. So guys, actually, this is getting close to that point to now where I can cover COSM. Very good. Okay. So in reference to, actually, let me load up another. I actually want to load up another chart for this. That's my little guy over there. Okay, so let me see if I have, first of all, a live regarding this, right? So let me type it in and see if I have a live edit, because you know what? I actually want to do a fresh edit on this because, guys, my COSM charts are very colluded. And I'm actually curious to see if I see anything new with a brand new iteration of it. So let's see. Cha-cha, how are you doing? Well, I'm doing good. Nothing to complain. I definitely, nothing to complain about. My little guy is outside. You know, wife and daughter are out there too. We're gonna, you know, eat some dinner later on. Everything is awesome. Nothing to complain about. And I'm here with all you fine people, which is just a top off to the weekend, right? To the Saturday. Tomorrow we have a family reunion just for a dinner, right? So which is why I'm streaming right now instead of on Sunday. Everything is looking good. I'm very pleased with everything, guys. So yeah, so this is Broadening Descending Wedge, of course. I would look at it. I'm playing autopilot right now. So Mr. Levitt saying, thank you for your time, Arca. Man, thank you for your time, my dude. I really appreciate you sticking around. So I wanted to see if I can see something different, right? So on autopilot, I already started drawing what I already know, right? So the most critical areas right now of demand are among us, okay? But that doesn't mean that we're going there. I'm just, remember, this is a brand new chart. So I'm just gonna start noting the things that are absolutely like very strong for this to consider. Okay, so first of all, demand zone 1. Oh, I felt me undoing my shoelaces right now. I hate it. I will never buy NMD shoes again. Those damn shoelaces always get undone. COSM. All right. All right. So the second area of the strongest demand would be located right down here. Okay. There we go. So now one zone that I remember talking about very often, and I'm gonna dim this. I'm gonna dim it, right? So this is what I considered a void. Okay, so that void was this gap here. And it's a huge area that we've used as a chop box. You see this? We've been using that area as just so much. So I'm gonna control this. I'm not gonna make it so apparent. And I want to kind of minimize everything here so that it's just barely present, so that we know that it's in there, right? So, but the demand zone, the most important demand zone we're looking at is in this range, 325 to 298. Okay, so in reference to the areas of demand, very likely we can find a bounce from this area again. Specifically the area of about $3.25, of which I think I remember mentioning this very often. Okay, so let's just go ahead and note it like that. Okay, so that is a significant area for us to consider. Now let's load up volatility and momentum. I want to see what we have in store. As far as the other term timeframes too, not only the daily. I tend to look for several setups to see which one could be a higher probability for us to get a good move to the upside or downside, right? So another thing to notice here is that while it's hard to kind of visualize this is in a sense very similar to what GTII was doing. Okay, so what I mean by that is this is a right angle triangle, which it's the only formation that I actually like to call, because it has mathematical properties alongside psychological properties. Okay, so it's mathematically backed as well. So the upside, which can be faced arguably soon, is due to the fact that we are already approaching that 80% completion to the apex of the triangle, where usually we break out at about 65 to 70%. Okay, so we're right at that area now. Okay, so there is a potential to where this can actually reload that primary demand zone and then launch. Okay, so just remember you guys, that this is it's a very important resistance that we faced. Okay, so now let's validate. Let's see what it actually has for the shorter term, because I'm actually curious to see what volatility has for us on the buy daily. Let me see. Volatility upside pivot on the buy daily, contracting from critical expansion. Okay, so that's already a signal. That's already suggesting that potential. So we're at critical volatility right now, or contracting from critical volatility in the BBWP, and momentum is creating a regression. Okay, so this is already signaling a potential upside as well. Okay, so now let me go to the immediate short-term time frame to see what we have. Okay, so as far as the RSI, so we have the RSI making an upside suggestion already, crossing that 14-day simple. Let's see what the buy hourly has. Bi-hourly time frame actually does have an upside pivot too. You know I don't like those little pivots. The only reason I'm pointing it out right now that it is an upside is potentially because of this gravitational zone that we're getting close to from the bear strength percentile. That would be that area that would be a saving grace for us to continue on to the upside. It'll pull us right back in. So let's go to the 6 hour and see what it's got. So 6 hour in that gravitational zone too, right inside of that. Well, it's smack in the middle of it, which is favoring the upside. Okay, let's go to the junction of it. So now the 12 hour is finding that support from the 14-day simple, which is validating the 6 hour support that we were just looking at. Right, the pull to the upside and also the bi-hourly pull to the upside. This is what essentially is giving us that validation. Okay, so we are finding that support on the 12 hour. Let's look at the daily. The daily at arguably at support, but crossing that 14-day, which makes me feel that the bi-daily may have the 14-day simple right below us. So let's look. Okay, so the bi-daily is actually finding resistance. Okay, so but please notice that a downside pivot is this. Okay, not this. So we can't rely on more bear pressure on this type of pivot when you have actual downside pivots like this, right? So those are significant to the downside. These look like they're losing strength. Okay, so let's look at the 3-day. A little bit of resistance as well. More of consolidation though. Okay, so we need to be very careful with another signal here. Okay, so upon, let's see, 1 day and 15 hours, which is going to be included on the trading day, not the weekend. Okay, so we are in a little bit of a danger of creating a bearish engulfing, but we want to create that bearish engulfing. And why do we want that? Because we want the daily setup to play out, or the 12 hour. We want this to, actually daily, sorry. We want that to happen because we want to grab that demand zone. If we move to the upside on here, there's not going to be enough volume. We want the bulls down here. We want them. The reason why I'm saying that we want to encourage the downside is because we need to make sure that we not only meet the bulls here, but also the bears. We want the bears to look at the targets that they want to cover at, because once they fulfill their cover area, then they'll cover their position. All the bulls get long here and pressure to the upside. So that's, I mean, it's just part of the playbook. We want that logic. First of all, the 8 hour still suggesting a downside continuation. That 8 hour on the RSI as well. Everything is suggesting this touch here. Okay, so I'm very, very, very much looking out for those targets, okay? James is like, Dad, 4 minutes? No way, that's too long. He's over there just losing his mind. I hear Mom over there like, no, don't do that. Good times, you guys. Families are awesome, okay? So, yeah, we want this here. We want this touch here. It could very potential, a high potential that it can be realized over the next trading day or the following. Okay, so Monday or Tuesday, very likely here, but don't expect, guys, when I say that this is the demand zone, don't expect one candle to come down here and then let's go like this one, right? So no, this is a black swan event, okay? It doesn't happen like that all the time. So what we're gonna do is find a support here, likely gonna wick down just a little bit like these right over here, right? We wick down from the support again, and then we launch, right? So we need to validate the area of support first before that continuation to the upside. Okay, so that's essentially what I'm looking at for COSM. If you need to know those targets, again, go ahead and just take a look at this. If you need to screenshot it, right? These are the zones that I'm looking for. Okay, so for a potential bounce. The other thing that we can take into consideration is the price objective, okay? Because that's another issue here, okay? So I don't want to take this, I guess whatever, we will. From the hypotenuse of the triangle to the very lowest end of the triangle, take that trend line, right? So now we can apply it to the supposed area of breakout. Let's just say that it were Friday, March 17th. Okay, so that's leading us, curiously enough, to exactly the target that we faced here at $23, $23.84. And I'm talking about to the penny. So it's very curious that it's already doing that, okay? So it's interesting, actually. I didn't know that, by the way. I didn't plan that or try to show you like, whoa, Arca knows his stuff. This is the first time I'm looking at myself. Okay, so now a range fib, overall range high to range low. Please look at that. 4 spot 618. Oh my goodness. Ah, that is incredible. That is just lunacy. Ah, perfect. Okay, so remember, it can very likely take days and days for it to get there, right? So, I mean, it's just very curious that it is suggesting those targets, okay? So, Mark Roach saying Arca A++. I love it, man. I love it. Yeah. I mean, please don't take what I'm saying lightly about this facing a downside, okay? Because what I'm saying is that there is, look at this, okay? There is a potential 16% loss from where we are. Okay, so definitely don't take it lightly. Yes, the support is very near us, but a 16% decline of it. Okay, so that can hurt. All right, so I'll be waiting days and days. Stick Vicious says, man, and you know what retail can do with this, right? So the technicals are suggesting what they will in the timing, but the psychology will say what it will say, and it'll do what it'll do, right? And then we will just gladly take the position and take our profits wherever that may be. All right, so I'm very much a fan over whatever is being presented here. Okay, so definitely know that there's another area of resistance for us to look at. Okay, and what area is that? The area of resistance is the. Oh, actually, let me see. Oh, man, yeah. Wow. So it would be a range of resistance that is located right at the 3 spot 618 from the high of these candles here. So see the wick here of this candle, and look at the cursor all the way to the right on the purple line. That's the 3 spot 618, almost to the penny. So very likely that could be our resistance range. I'm sorry I got a little quiet there. I just wanted to make sure to kind of like show you that. Right, so this is the overall resistance range for us to take into serious account. But remember, there's not going to be one candle straight to the upside like this, right? It rarely happens, as you can see. Freaking never happens, right? So, yeah, we can get a zigzag, a natural growth all the way to the upside over the span of time. But of course, we have this area to combat, right? We have the top side of our resistance from this channel. First of all, we're going to likely come up to the 0.618 at 577 to the 0.786 at 652 resistance touch, right? And then we come back, guys. This is let me just show you what I'm looking at. Damn it. Okay, it's hard for me to just show you what I'm looking at without actually drawing it. Okay, so what you're looking at here is identical to GTII. Okay, so this is the same setup. Okay, why am I saying this? Broadening descending wedge, right angle triangle. Oh, he fell. I hear my little guy, he fell and he hit himself hard. You hear him crying? Ugh. All right, so guys, yes, this is very similar. This is very similar to the GTII asset. This is a buy formation breakout. Okay, so this is essentially the play. Okay, so it's totally football right here, right? So we have to come back to the loading zone first. Okay, loading zone is going to be a huge demand area. And in order for us to meet this area, we would definitely need a 15%, 16% decline, right? We'll get that decline. We'll bump up to the upside. We're going to likely resist one more time at this area at about 410. We come back to the current lows of about 350. We break upside of this. We touch the 0.618 at about 577 to 612 at the broadening descending wedge resistance. We resist there. We come back to the space between the 0.382 and the 0.236, which just so happened to be our newly converted resistance and support of our triangle. Upon this breakout here, we then move up. Okay, we're going to move up very violently to the 1 spot 618. We come back to the 0.618 again, and then we can move to the upside. Okay, so it has to play like this. Okay, it's just geometrics. The playbook rules, it's just the way it's in books, man. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to play out that way. I'm just telling you that this is how it has to play out in order for it to continue a pretty substantial move to the upside. It has to meet certain areas of resistance and support in order to invalidate or validate continuations to the upside. Okay, yes, it can be very complex, but it's because I'm giving you days and days and days of information in a second. So it's a lot of turbulence here. You know what I mean? It's like, it's heart attack here. then like heart attack here, and then heart attack here, and then heart attack here. It's a heart attack up and down because you don't know to take profit, or you don't know if it's going to continue all the way to the downside and take all my money, and you don't know to take profit here, and then it's going to, give you fear again. I don't know if I should take profit, and I don't, like, guys, this is going to be ridiculous, okay? So know that it's definitely not one candle to the upside in these black swan events. It can take its time, all right, you guys? So I just want you to express extreme caution here, but this is a very similar setup to GTII. If you are curious, please go ahead and refer to the video that I just released on Friday, because this whole setup is exactly the same thing. I'm drawing it like the same way too, which is usually a pretty typical breakout setup out of this broadening descending wedge, right? So, yeah. Take into consideration all the things that I just said, guys, okay? Take it with a grain of salt. Don't take it as financial advice whatsoever. Okay, Stick Vicious saying days and days. I got time. We got time, man. We got time. All right, you guys. So yeah, just focus on your supports. Okay, notice how many times we've touched at this support. This is a demand zone. Okay, that's how you can tell the areas of demand and supply. Okay, supply and demand. The basic rules of economics. All right, so I don't usually play demand zones. It's just it's pretty apparent that it's there. It's very likely that we can face some bounces from this area. All right, you guys, and the structure. The structure is all. More stuff that you'll learn in the ARC Masters trading course, okay, you guys? But, guys, that is going to be the last ticker that we will cover tonight. I really appreciate everybody for stopping by and for joining me for this very exciting ticker picker. Moderators, Mark Roach, Samantha H., guys, DJ, and I know Cal is probably already asleep. Miss L, have a very good night. Am I going to do a video on COSM? I probably have to, right? In respects to my donos, I really appreciate everybody. So, guys, I really love everybody that came in here. Have a very good night. Thank you so much for coming by. And also, let me see. I actually haven't greeted this guy in just a bit. I'm wondering if he already fell asleep. Right, so that was a One Fix It Man. Thank you so much for all your help. Really appreciate you guys. Calvin Tran, I will put it on the list for that ticker symbol CENN. Right, it's just a limited amount of time that I'm actually facing right now in order for me to get the master's course ready, which is almost there. All right, you guys, but I really appreciate everybody for coming by tonight. Make sure to stick around for the next ticker picker, which is going to be on Monday. And we will reevaluate and make sure to prepare for that CPI data release on Tuesday. Please remember, guys, I would really highly suggest not to bet on CPI data releases, okay? That's very, very dangerous, okay? Stick Vicious, thanks, Battle. Enjoy your evening and dinner with the fam tomorrow. Thank you so much, my dude. Let's keep on talking those ideas about food, right? And we'll get some family dinners moving. Mark Roach, love to all, right? Beso Amy, great video. Have fun at the reunion. Thank you so much, Beso Amy. Really appreciate that. CPI data are scheduled to be released on March 14th, 2023, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Guys, thank you so much, Mark, for providing that. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by. I wish you well, a very good night, and a great rest of your weekend. And I will catch you at the bell on Monday. Adios.